What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Clocker Sports Podcast. I am your host, Josh Buckhalter. Be sure to follow me on X at JoshyBuck, as well as the show at Clocker Sports on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok as well. We have another great episode for you this week. Our special guest is Spice Adams, former Chicago Bears defensive tackle. Before we get into that, though, be sure to like, rate, share, review, all those great things to help the show grow. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Here's Spice Adams. Mr. Atomic Dog, if you will, Mr. Ha Ha. Thank you very much for taking some time out to join me today in your partnership with Tide. We're going to talk about that in a second, but how are you doing today? Welcome to the show.
I can't complain, man. I ain't doing nothing, man. I'm decorated dust out here.
Well, as I said, you are a person who crosses both the boundaries of sports player, athlete, and sports entertainer. Just talk to me about that journey for you and how it's been and how this partnership with Tide came about.
Well, I spent 9 years in the league, 4 years with San Francisco and 5 years with Chicago, and I've had a great time, man. And what I've learned is, being in a locker room, looking at the guys in the huddle and things like that. That's the thing that I miss the most, just being around the guys. And so the fact that Tide has created this campaign, it's making me see another element or another side of football that I haven't seen, and that's like the tailgating scene. You see it all the time when you're passing by everybody when you go to the locker room, and you notice everybody having fun and laughing and joking and playing catch and eating all type of foods. So Ty came up with a campaign because nobody does game day like a Buffalo, like a Kansas City, like a New Orleans, but nobody cleans better than Tide. So, at these tailgates, you're going to be eating a chili dog or something like that, and you're going to get some chili on your jersey, or you're going to be eating some pizza, you're going to get some pizza on it. And so Tide is there to tackle the stains. So that is just genius, man. And the fact that they involve me and we have a partnership together, it just works, man. It's just, I get a chance to interact with the fans and see their energy and to see how excited they are for their respective teams. And the campaign celebrates all the fans' tailgate rituals and activities, customs, and cuisine. And the messier you get, the better it is for Tide, because we get a chance to tackle the stain. So it just works, man. It's a great campaign. I'm excited to be a part of it.
How much easier is it for you to get involved with something like that when fans do tailgate too hard? I think everybody can kind of relate to that, and everybody has to clean their clothes. So it's something that you could, relate to everyday life. How much easier is it to dig deep into something like that, a project like this?
Oh, you just having fun. And so, like, a lot of the fans, that's all they really want to do. But how many times do you get to have fun with a former player? How many times do you get a chance to interact with somebody that you might see on TV, or you see somebody on social media or something like that, and you get a chance to actually see, like, hey, this not only is this guy fun on social media, like he's fun in person. Like we met him, we ran like a 40-yard dash with him, we did push-ups with him, we arm wrestled with him, we ate food with him, we laughed, we joked, we had a good time. I had a second line with me in New Orleans. So they were following me around with the tuba, with the trumpet, with the horns, with the drums, like all of that, man. So it's been a great time, man. I can't even complain over here.
Talk about your transition from your playing career to social media, and was that a conscious thing, or was something that just kind of happened and you decided to grow with it as it went?
It was more like a dare because I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't want anything to do with it. I just wanted to focus on football. So a lot of my teammates, like a Chris Harris or Earl Bennett, like those guys. I seen Chris one time, like duck off in a corner somewhere talking with somebody, and then we look on TV. He's doing an interview like live on ESPN. I was like, man, this dude it's all over the place. He's tweeting about it at the time. And so what would happen is they would record me in the locker room or walking in the training room, and they would say, look how many impressions this got. And I was just like, this is just me being me. Like, I'm just acting silly, just doing what I normally do. And they like, man, look how many people talking about it. They like, man, you need to start your own Twitter and, you know, just start tweeting out stuff or whatever. And I was like, man, ain't nobody got time for all of that stuff, man. So once I retired, I made a video. And I called up Chris Harris, who's coaching now at Tennessee with the Titans. He was saying that, hey, man, we see this all the time in the locker room, but not a lot of other people get a chance to see it. So put it out on YouTube, man. And so I put it out there, and it was received well. It had a lot of views, and people were talking about it locally on the news. And then I just started something. So then a week after that, I dropped something. Then I dropped something else a week after that, until I put up the retirement video of me retiring at a fast food restaurant, White Castle. And then everything just went crazy after that.
It's become such a staple. We were in the stadium this past weekend, and they did the ha, and I could hear
I heard that.
I could hear the Panthers reporter saying, "What was that?" And I was like, "Man, you just got to know. You just you know one of those deals." It was really
I wasn't even there, and people were texting me that was going on at the stadium, and I was like, "Oh snap, that's crazy."
It was a random timing for it, but people in the stadium, you know, Bears fans knew, you know, like I said, it was one of those like reaction type things. It was great moment. I do want to talk to you about your playing days. I want to go back to the NFC Championship game against the Packers.
Yeah,
there are a couple plays that stand out in the mind of I think many fans. The fumble on the ground that no one knew what to do with. And
man.
What was your thoughts on that during that play? We'll go to that one first.
Is that the one where the peanut grab?
That I think Anderson.
If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, I think Peanut had recovered a fumble, but there was a football that just like rolled on the field.
That's
like while he had, okay. So I think Peanut had the ball. And so everybody was trying to tackle Peanut. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, Peanut is carrying out the greatest fake in the world. Because the ball is right here. So I'm like, everybody's chasing Peanut this way. But watch this. I'm going to go run to get the ball. And I see like one of the ball guys come to like grab it. And I'm like, no, why would there just be a random football out here like this, dude? So it was ridiculous for me, but I mean, it made sense to everybody on the other side of the field because they didn't know what was going on. So it was just weird. But I think one of the guys on the sideline had a football or something like that, and they let it slip out of their hand or something like that, and they rolled out on the field. But me being conditioned to what I'm conditioned, anytime you see a ball, you going up to go pick it up. Like, I don't care if the whistle blew. I don't care if it was an incomplete pass. I don't care what the situation was. If you see a football on the field, you go to get it. You sprint to go get it. It's just been embedded in my brain. So when I saw that, it was just like, it was confusing to me.
I think that was a confusion for everybody. And it's funny. I think players grabbing the football and running it out to the end zone, even after the play is over, is probably my second thing behind the DB that does a strap up even after the ball was way out of play. Those are two of my favorite moments. The other one I wanted to ask you about was the Randall Cobb touchdown, where the defense appears to be caught not paying attention or out of position. What do you remember about that play, if anything, specifically?
We shouldn't have let Rodgers get out the pocket. So I'm taking the L on that when it comes to the defensive lineman. Like, the defensive lineman should have at least kept him in the pocket or at least made a throw more difficult than the throw that he made. So I'm putting that on us. I thought that we should have got more pressure or we should have gotten his face, but definitely not let him outside the pocket. Because when he goes outside the pocket, then that put too much pressure on the DBs to have to cover somebody for that long. So I'm putting the blame on the defensive line on that.
That was definitely a thrilling game, though. I got to put that stamp on that one. You are still around the team heavily. You have seen this team evolve from the offseason to the preseason to now. What have you seen from them? What have you liked the most from this group's development so far?
I still like the defense. I think the defense has just taken off from where they last stopped during the last season. They're still. I think they've only allowed like 21 points, like average or whatever, and so they're doing a good. Definitely gonna help within these next couple months if we're gonna make a run. And of course, it helps that Caleb is developing and he's stringing back-to-back games of throwing over 300 yards. I don't think he had an interception in the past game, so he didn't make a lot of mistakes. And that is something that you can build off on. And we got Jacksonville next, and Jacksonville isn't very good. So the fact that you got to travel all the way over to London is going to help that you play a team that's not very good. So this is something that we could build off on. And I'm starting to like what I see in the run game. I think they watched the same film that we watch. And so they got to the point now where they're like, hey, man, we got to help everybody out. We got to help the defense out by controlling the clock. We got to help the offensive line out by calling more run plays so you can be more physical. And we got to help. They got great running backs. They got Swift, they got Johnson, they got Khalil Herbert, who I love. I think he should get way more touches than what he's getting. Or you just try to find a way where you can get Herbert and Swift on the field at the same time somehow. But I like where we at right now, and I just think with Caleb having the games that he's having, you got to keep the positivity going and keep his success rate at an all-time high.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Clockwork Sports Podcast. Big thanks to my special guest, Anthony Spice Adams. Be sure to look out for Anthony and Tide at a tailgate near you. Of course, like, share, rate, review. All those great things help the show grow. Be sure to follow me on X at Josh E. Buck. Follow the show and the site on X at Clockwork Sports, on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere at Clockwork Sports. And, of course, until the very next time, you know what time it is.